Adam here from the Walzer Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2024 Mazda CX-30. So we'll look at this new trim for 24, which is the 2.5S Select Sport. We'll take a look at the inside and then see what it's like out on the open road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the CX-30, so let's go for a little spin around. Now, there's a ton of trim levels. It can get a little confusing when looking at the CX-30, but no, for 2024, this is a new model. So this is the 2.5S, so that's gonna be the engine, and this is the Select Sport. So it's replaced kind of the old Select from the previous 23 model, and then now the Select Sport is gonna have a lot of good equipment, and it's not gonna carry a huge price tag. So this one starts at about $27,000 to $28,000, depending on what kind of port installed options come with this vehicle. But basically, when you look at the average new car price right now at $48,000, you're getting a lot of equipment in this vehicle for the money. One of the biggest things being that every Mazda SUV now comes standard with the iActive all-wheel drive system. So what does that mean? It looks nice today, but it's still wintertime here in Minnesota. So when that snow falls, you are definitely going to really like having that all-wheel drive system. Now, the 2.5S is one of the two engine options offered in the CX-30. If you want a little more get up and go, you can go with the turbocharged engine, but that only comes on the higher trim levels. I think the 2.5S, it's got about 190 horsepower, so real world driving, you're looking at about 33 mpg on the highway or about 29 combined. I think that's pretty awesome. For a crossover or a small segment SUV, that is great fuel economy. And if you kind of feather, you're lighter on the gas, I mean, anything over 30 mpgs to me is pretty awesome. Now from there, let's talk about some of the safety features. So Mazda's safety suite is so good. It comes with so many standard features on this model. You're gonna have things like the Mazda radar cruise control, which is really cool. You can set 4, 3, 2, 1 car length distances ahead of you, and it's gonna keep that distance out on the road. Now you're also going to have a lane departure warning that will come on. This has got blind spot monitoring, so I can see in my side mirror that that vehicle's coming up next to me, and if I put my blinker on, it will give me an audible notification. There's also different collision avoidance things in here, like that lane keeping assist. I mean, there's so much good safety built into these Mazda vehicles that if it's gonna be you and your family in the vehicle, you're obviously gonna wanna make sure you're safe, and the Mazda does a great job of doing that. So what about the actual ride and drive out on the road? It's fun. These are fun cars. I can only imagine that the turbo is even more fun when you get behind the wheel, but I think this is great. It's more than enough power to get you up onto an on-ramp and get you going out on the highway. Buzzing around city, it's fun. The all-wheel drive, the responsiveness, it all works together very nicely. Now, this Select Sport, the 2.5S, gives you this leatherette seating, and this particular one has the leather wrap steering wheel and shift knob combo, which I think does make a pretty big difference. The seats are really comfortable. Now, it's a manual seat in this model, but you can kind of pump yourself up or down. There's a little spin knob on the side here that kind of changes the lower leg seating position, so you can move up and down. It's really cool. The seats are great. I think there's a lot of comfort in here, even into the back. Yes, this is Mazda's smallest SUV, so if you're looking for more maybe space, you need a little bit of extra room, you might want to look at the CX-5 or CX-50, or if you really need a lot of space, the CX-90 is an awesome option there. But I mean, you hear that? You put your foot down, we're off and moving. I mean, it's got, like I said, more than enough power for 95% of the time how you're driving the car. If it's just you in the car, buzzing back and forth to work, maybe you're picking up the kids, I think this is gonna give you the usability that you need in those scenarios. Now the turbo, if you want a little bit more fun, want a little bit more zip, yes, obviously that would be the one to go for. Now, as you work your way up through the trim levels, you can add a ton of different equipment and options, different colors. There's red leather interior. You can do the new terracotta, which looks super cool as well. I mean, then you go to things like the heated seats, you can get ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. There's a lot of good stuff you can continue to add into these. But I think the 2.5S and the Select Sport, when you look at what equipment you're getting, comparing it to other vehicles, plus I think the styling on the exterior is really good. This one's that deep blue outside, and it looks really cool with the blacked out 18-inch wheels. There's LED headlights up front. You've got the LEDs out back as well. So I think the style and design, that Kodo design language that Mazda uses, is really good. I mean, one thing you can tell when you drive this vehicle is that Mazda built and designed the Miata, because that's a fun little two-door sports car, and this almost feels more like a little two-door sports car than a small crossover or small sporty SUV. It handles nice. Just the general layout of the seat and the steering wheel is great. It's right where I want to be. It's comfortable in here. And like I said, if you're getting great fuel economy and it's fun when you're behind the wheel, there's no trade-off there. Plus, with the all-wheel drive, there's a lot of good stuff to like here. Another thing, inside, the cabin feels pretty upscale or luxury. Like I said, the leatherette seat with the leather-wrapped steering wheel shift knob, the digital display here in the center of the gauge cluster, it just looks like a standard gauge cluster, but then you can use the buttons on the steering wheel, show you things like your trip computer and that adaptive cruise control system. It's not overcomplicated. I got in, it's got the dual climate control, so I can set my temperature or the passenger's temperature. You've got your infotainment screen up here, which you can use Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. This is going to be a wired system for that. The radio is easy and it actually sounded really good in here as well. I mean, I was blown away at how easy it was, how nice it feels in here. I like the interior materials in the cabin, the way this stuff is laid out. It just makes sense and it makes day-to-day driving a lot easier and a lot more comfortable. So one other thing you have down here is Mazda's controller for the infotainment screen. It's straightforward and simple. There's your home button, you can use your music, and then again, your Apple CarPlay is kind of housed through there, but that will also be a touch screen, which Mazda added back, which is very nice when you've got the CarPlay hooked up. I mean, it's simple, it's easy. There's a volume knob down here, so you're not messing with an infotainment screen. You can simply just turn the volume up and down right on the knob here. And then you've also got your sport mode. So if you want a little bit more zip, you can kick it into sport, and that's going to give you a little bit more fun. Okay, so now that we've taken a little spin around, overall the CX-30, I think it's awesome. Like I said, 95% of the time, if you're just using the car back and forth to work, getting the kids, running errands, I think this is an awesome trim level. Like I said, coming in just around the $28,000 range or 27. It's gonna have dual climate control, it's got the CarPlay, it's got the great styling on the exterior, plus the good fuel economy. I think if you're looking for something that you want a little bit of comfort and style to, the CX-30 has to be on your list to come out, take for a spin and see what you think. So that was just a quick look and drive in the 24 CX-30. Now, if you have any other questions or would like to schedule a test drive for yourself, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by either one of our Mazda stores. We'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.